It wouldn't be West Ham United if we didn't just sell our best player to then have our second best player now linked with a move away, would it? I mean, that is just typical of what's going to happen here. First of all, right, let's just talk about it. So Lucas Paqueta, there's been rumours of that PSG are going to make a move to sign him this summer. First of all, before we get into all that, Mr. Riley Finch, I want to talk to you about Paqueta. What was your feelings on him last season? I personally thought, slow start, but my word, he really did start to turn it on, didn't he, towards the second half of the season?
Yeah, I think everyone who's watched the channel knows my views on Paqueta. I feel like he is the future star for the football club. Very up there with, I'd say the only person even close to him is Jarrod Bowen at the moment in terms of, but I honestly think Paqueta's on another level. He's honestly world class. He took a bit of time to settle in, and there's still times where he makes silly passes, but I think sometimes you need that. Sometimes you've got to take risk reward. If you're going to do these incredible skills that he does, sometimes it's not going to pay off. No one's perfect. So every now and then he'll play an absolute blinder of a pass, and he'll play an absolute a brilliant dribble, go past 3 or 4 players, and sometimes he'll dribble the ball and give it to the opposition and do a wayward pass and not really think, and that does happen. But for me, I think Paqueta has to be the focal point for this season. Who do you want to play alongside, mate? Who's the number 6? And I think that hopefully is something that our technical director will look at. And realistically, for me, who are we going to get to replace him? If we sold him for 30, 40 million, I can't think of another person who's going to come in and perform the way that he has been. And that was only half a season. Imagine now that he's settled into the squad, he's got his mates, he's got his role. I feel like he's found his place. Obviously he was playing in the sort of number 10 position. He didn't really suit it too often. Now he's sort of dropping a bit deeper and playing. He played alongside Declan Rice. Hopefully we find someone who's a proper number 6 who could just sweep in the midfield and just allow Paqueta this kind of free roam role where he could just kind of do what he wants. He can drop back if he wants to drop back. He can hang behind the striker if he wants to hang behind the striker. But I'm a massive fan of Paqueta. And I think the club has the stance that they're not going to sell him, but it's always hard to ward off interest from clubs like PSG.
We're going to get back to the video really shortly, but I just want to let you know this video is actually sponsored by NordVPN. Now, NordVPN are a private network that allow you as a fan to watch games from the comfort of your own home. You can change the region that you're in. It also allows you to watch films, TV shows, things like that. Now, the other big thing is it's also on travel costs. So being West Ham, where you're in Europe again, and also you might want to go on holiday, but you can also save some money on your flights, on your hotels, things like that. It's really worth it. And look, for the monthly subscription, okay, it's less than a pint or a coffee a month. Now, if you go to the link below and using nordvpn.com/West Ham Way, you get 4 months free, completely free. And also after that, you get a 30-day money back guarantee. So just click on the link, go on it, give it a try, see what you think. Anyway, back to the video. Yeah, I think it. I mean, my first thoughts on it are that I'm not overly worried personally at this stage. I'm really not. I don't think there's a few reasons for this, because one, I don't think the player's overly unhappy, although we will come to this in a minute because there is rumours that he's not overly pleased with the style of football. And let's be honest, that's not the first time we've heard that from a footballer at West Ham. We've had Mikel Antonio talk about it. We've had, I think Scamacca's kind of alluded to it a little bit. I think Sue Fowles mentioned it before. They don't like this whole sitting back routine. They don't like it. But that being said, I don't get the impression that he's unhappy at West Ham. I don't think this would have been the season he dreamed of in the Premier League. I think he was hoping that we'd be challenging at the top. So, but having said that, he has walked away with a trophy, and a winner's medal. So I'm sure that's cushioned the blow a bit. And he's got European football again next season. I don't think there's a great deal wrong with West Ham at the moment as a club in terms of us trying to keep him happy. But I think really, like you said, I think he's the focal point, Paqueta. I think this is a new look midfield we've got coming in. I think that might excite him a little bit. I'm hoping it does. And he's thinking, well, let's see who I'm going to be partnering with and building around. I'm personally not that worried. I actually starting to get the feeling, Riley, that, I mean, there is a bit of the concern is people say, well, he's just changed his agency. He's literally just changed it, which is sometimes the hint that he might be looking to move. But I wonder whether they're just angling for a new deal at West Ham. Maybe he's thinking, well, I could earn more money here now. Declan Rice has just left. You offered him 200 grand a week to stay, didn't you? I'm on 120, whatever it is. He might be saying, well, I want 200. And I don't blame him. If I was the agency, that's exactly what I'd be saying to West Ham. Right, okay, he's your new main man. He's thinking about leaving. They might be the ones dropping the PSG links in and saying, oh, our clubs are interested. that I'll get a bit of a gut feeling that might be happening. And if that is happening, I'm quite pleased. I really hope that is the case, because if I was West Ham, I'd be jumping all over it, get him on a new deal, keep him happy. We talked about the captaincy. Who knows? Maybe that'll be going his way. I don't know. But and also, Riley, another reason I'm quite confident he'll stay. The only reason I think he would go is if he demands to leave, which I'd be surprised. Could happen, but I'd be surprised. But let's bear in mind as well, he's got 5 years left on his contract. I think he's got 4 years plus the additional option for another year. So that is a big contract. I mean, so if they're going to buy Paqueta, they've got to table something like 80 million to even West Ham to even slightly entertain it.
Would you take that?
Well, I mean, we bought him for 50, didn't we?
45, I think, with some add-ons or whatever. But yeah, round about.
If you're going to buy him out of a contract now, with 5 years to go, and he's considered our best player now as well, and the fact we've just sold Rice, West Ham aren't. Let's be honest, West Ham are going to be absolutely no appetite to be selling players anymore, unless players that we want to ship out, possibly Skamaka. They're not going to want to get rid of Bowen and get rid of Paqueta just after losing Rice. So, and we know we've done that before with Rice. Rice could have left a couple of years ago, but we were adamant he wasn't going to go. I don't think West Ham would sell him anyway. I just don't, unless the player completely demands to leave. I don't think West Ham would have any desire, unless, of course, a massive, massive offer comes in. As I say, but it'd have to be in that region, wouldn't it? It'd have to be in the 80, 90 million pound mark for West Ham to even bother considering it. Because
would you consider
it? 80, 90, I think you'd have to, because in fact you only spent 50 on him 12 months ago. And obviously the player wanting to go, but because at least then you could then go, right, let's go and buy another midfielder in, and we've got 80, 90 minutes to play with. But no, I don't see it, mate. I'm quite confident actually that this is going to come to nothing. I don't think Paqueta will leave. I really don't. He doesn't strike me as a player that's unhappy. But are you concerned then? Have you got a concern that you think there's something could actually become of this?
Do you know what, mate? I think that, credit where it's due, Sullivan has really impressed me so far this window. I thought if we sold Declan Rice that, we'd want to get it done as soon as possible. We'd panic, Arsenal have lowballed us with this offer. Oh, God, I don't know how much money we're going to be able to get with that. Sorry, apologies.
It's all right.
It's gone off for some reason. Yeah, I don't know how much money we're going to get for him, but the fact that we've stayed strong and we've said 105 million, 100 million is what we're going to stick with. The fact that even the payment plan we're not happy with, like we're really sticking to our guns. I really can't see us being bullied into selling any more of our players if Sullivan is taking this stance at the moment. So even if they do come in with a crazy offer, which I don't think they will. I think they're going to go down the route of, well, we're PSG, so if you want to play for us, you should want to play for us and force a move out anyway. Same with someone like Jarrod Bowen. I can imagine if he was trying to be lured away, they're not going to pay like through the nose just because he's a player that we really, really want to keep. So I'm not really worried at all. I think he's happy at the club. I can't see we aren't desperate to sell. We've got 105 million coming in plus whatever kitty has already been assigned to him. It would just be another issue. We've already got assigned 2 midfielders to replace Declan Rice, chuck a third in the mix. I mean, that's a crazy idea to basically bring in 3 midfielders for a new season when we've already got so much change going on. I really just don't see it happening. So unless Paqueta turns around, like you say, and demands a move to PSG, obviously it is kind of like his home league. Like, I know he's from Brazil, but he played so long there for Lyon. He knows the league inwards and outwards. But I feel like if you're a player like Paqueta and you've been with Lyon for those few years and you played in the French leagues already, are you really that interested in a French title? Are you really that interested? I mean, obviously you got Champions League pool, but are you really that interested? Wouldn't you rather another couple years in the Premier League trying to fight for God knows what? Maybe go to Europa League. Like, he hasn't won the Europa League yet. He has a chance of that at West Ham. Admittedly, a small chance, I would say. And then maybe get a move to a Premier League side later on in a few years. I just don't see the instant. I've been at West Ham for a year. Oh, PSG are in for me. I've got to jump ship. I don't think he's like that. I don't think West Ham are like that. So no, I'm not too worried, mate.
No, I'm not. I don't think. I think that at the moment, as you say, West Ham's stance won't be there won't be a desire to sell him unless, as we've said, unless he demands it. We've just sold Rice, so I think that's a big key factor in this. The club aren't going to have any appetite to want to sell any more key players for us at all. If anything, it'll be the opposite. I think they'll be desperate to keep him. They probably want to sit down with him and try and time to a new deal. We said about PSG, yeah, okay, but they might be interested. They're going to pay through the nose. West Ham aren't going to be up for anything unless it's a massive amount of money. Are they going to do that? I'm not sure. Not convinced they would. And in terms of the player, one, I think what we've heard from ex-WHU employees that the player's actually very happy in East London, very, very settled and got no desire to move on. And also on top of that, you think about his development as a player. He's come from the French league anyway, like you said. He's played out there for a few years. It's quite obvious that the Premier League was a step up because he struggled with the Premier League to begin with. He took a few months to understand the pace of the game. So I imagine why would he want to go back to a league that effectively is a step down in...
Yeah.
I don't see why you'd want that. You'd surely want to develop as a player. And like you say, if anything, he'd probably want to stay in England and go, I'll stay at West Ham for the next couple of years with the idea that maybe I'll get a move to Man City or a Man United. I don't know. I'll get a big move. And that's where I want to apply my trade or wherever. I don't think he'd want to go back to a league where it's going to be like, well, there's a couple of teams fighting for it. The rest are pretty bang average. And this is a quite slow-paced league. I can kind of dictate. I don't know. I can't imagine him being that eager to go and do that. So yeah, overall, mate, my final thoughts on this, mate. I don't think there's anything in it. I don't think we've got anything to worry about. But I certainly bloody hope not anyway.
Yeah, especially when you think like it would just seem a bit backwards, wouldn't it? Like you've just packed up all your crap from the French from France, and you've moved all your stuff over. You moved your family over. You got your new school, and then you go, do you know what? We're going back. You know, get the U-Haul back in, get the cardboard boxes out. We've only just finished unpacking. Let's pack it all up again and go back to France. It just seems a bit backwards to me. So, yeah, I don't think there's any real danger to it. But I guess I have to wait and see, mate.